Minda, Falagenis. That's Cornish for good morning. How are you? I hope you're all well. So you join me today out at Gwithian. I've decided to come down and have a little wander on the beach and see what I can find. Obviously, I shall end up undoubtedly shooting the lighthouse, as that is the main focal point around here. But I thought before that we could see what other compositions are available to us on the beach. I'm not sure how well this is going to go because that wind is gusting again this morning. I seem to have picked the wrong day yet again, but let's go and take a look, see what we can find. Well, I was right, it's definitely windy out here today. I just stopped at the top, took a quick shot of Godrevy Lighthouse at the top of Towans there. Far too windy to talk you through the shot, but I'll certainly put that image up shortly. But look, you can see behind me, out on the beach, some kite surfers, and I've just been watching them a little bit as well. It's fascinating to watch them skimming across the water there. But we'll carry on down towards the beach and see what we can find. So I made it down to the beach, and lo and behold, it's not actually as windy down here as it is on the top of the Towans. It's quite amazing how just dropping down a few feet can make a hell of a difference. And no sooner am I on the beach than I think I've found my first composition. In fact, I've got the camera set up already. If I just buzz you around, you can have a quick look at what I'm looking at and see what you think. So there you go, there's the composition on the screen. Just wandering across the beach here, and I noticed this bank which is curved out towards the lighthouse, and it also matches the direction of the other headland. And I thought that it's a lovely line that just leads your eye through the image towards the lighthouse. And I quite like the rocks here in the foreground as well. If I just bring the camera up a little bit, that's the view when you're not looking through the back of the camera, and hopefully that's going to come out as a really nice image. I'm just going to wait for some people to clear through, and then I shall take that shot. We'll see what it looks like. Fascinated with the geology of this area, and out here within Godrevy there seems to be a real mixture of different rocks. If I just buzz you around a moment, for example, you can see the ones in front of me. It's got these rocks here which appear to have a greenish colour to them and a purplish colour to them. Now I've no idea what they are. Maybe somebody out there knows better than I do and can tell me what they are, how they formed. But this place, there's so many different things here. I mean, you know, for example, these rocks here with the veins running through it, I think it's quartz, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe again someone can tell me. Here, look, again, veins of what appear to be quartz running through the rocks. Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely incredible place. So not something that I generally advocate doing, but just a little bit further down the beach from those rocks I was showing you just now, I found this little cave, and looking in here, well, let me turn the camera around and you can see what it is I'm looking at. Just a second. So that is the view on the back of the camera. I've gone for a portrait image rather than the landscape one, because the landscape one just wouldn't work. I've changed from my 24 to 105 lens, which is my go-to, to my 16 to 35mm lens. I've already taken the shot because it's a bit cramped in here. I thought it was easier to take the shot and then talk you back through it. I think it's, I love the shape of the entrance of the cave, and as a Cornishman, any hole anywhere in the ground, anything like that in the rock face, I'm always fascinated to see what's inside. But you do have to be careful when you come into these things. You need to check the rocks around you, you need to make sure it's all safe. So we'll see how that image comes out, and I'll pop it on the screen. So, Who spotted my not so deliberate mistake with this image? In my efforts to convey the height of the cave entrance, I failed to allow enough room at the top of the frame for the roof of the cave. To some people that might not be an issue, but to me it's a mistake. The great thing about mistakes is we can learn from them, and on this occasion, we get to learn from one of mine. So just walking along the beach here, a little bit further, as we make our way across towards Godrevy Lighthouse, and it was high tide this morning, so the tide's on its way out, and I've just spotted a nice stone in contrast to the rest of the sand around it. I'll just flip it around so I can show you and talk you through what I'm trying to do. So this is the rock in question that's caught my attention. As you can see, it's a much darker rock sitting on that sand. Also, I love the patterns around it, the patterns that the sand and the tide have created as the sea has gone out and left that stone there on the beach for us to look at. I'll show you the composition on the back of the camera, if I can. So there we go, that's what it's looking like on the back of the camera. Nice simple shot, just the sand, the stone and the sea, the sky above it. Hopefully that'll come out as a nice little image. So, let's take that shot. Yeah, really pleased with that. I'll pop that up on the screen to share with you all. So while I talk about my fascination for the geology of this place, look at this. Look how completely different that is to that section over there, for example. Always fascinates me as to what took place here to cause that. In fact, you can probably see just over there, if I zoom in a little bit, a bit more of the same. Would love to know the geology, the geological history of this location as to how it ended up like this. So if someone can tell me, I'd love to listen. One of the things that people often don't realise about a place like Gwithian Beach is that this place actually has an industrial past. Now, in a little bit of video I put up just now, you would have seen some metal anchor points, and I believe that at one time there was an aerial ropeway out here for removal of sand from the beach. And if I turn you around and show you this, many of you will know about the old minecart sticking out the cliff face. And there it is. Now, what it's doing there, I have no idea. I'm not sure many people do these days. It doesn't look like it was deep enough to actually be mining. So I would imagine at one point that could well have been on the surface, and that it's been buried over time, but who knows. Here's one of the things that I really wanted to shoot today, or attempt to shoot, was one of these sea stacks here on Gwithian Beach. Those of you who follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing, will know that I have a bit of a thing for sea stacks. I don't really know why, I find them fascinating, just stood there in isolation on a beach or just off the coast, and they do make a wonderful subject. So, with this shot, I've got the stack here, we've got some sand in the foreground over here, and then we've got the lighthouse in the backdrop. And what I'll do is I'll turn you around a moment, and I will show you what it looks like on the back of the camera, and give you a camera eye view of what's going on. So that's the view on the back of the camera. Now, I don't know if any of you have realised, or any of you have noticed, you might well have done, but on the front of the camera I do have, if I show you, come round, a polarizer, and I use DC filters. I've always used DC filters. A bit of moisture on that, we'll wipe that off in a second, and that's great for cutting down on things like reflections. So you can see the reflection in this image, and if I can find the wheel, you see how that reflection changes? See how it gets lighter? Or I can darken it down, and that's really useful when composing an image where there's water. If you don't want to have too much in the way of a reflection, or you want to enhance the reflection, or you want to darken down a particular area, it's fantastic for that. Having that polarizer is a really useful tool because it helps to cut down the reflection, the glare on the water if you don't want it, or if you do want it, you don't have to have the polarizer set that way. But I find it's a really useful tool, particularly when I'm shooting woodland photography in the autumns because it really makes those colours pop. It helps to bring through the intensity of that colour. But I find it very useful when I'm doing long exposure photography. I find it very useful on the movement of water. It keeps the clarity of the white areas, but it helps to darken down the underside of the water. And again, on the beach with the reflections, it just helps to really take the glare off from the overhead light. So I'll take that image and I will share that with you shortly. If you are enjoying today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to the channel. Apparently it helps the YouTube algorithms to know what's popular. I would very much like to grow this channel and take you out with me a little more often. So thank you to those that do subscribe. I very much appreciate it. So we finally made it down to the lighthouse, and this is a spot that I was intending to bring you to shoot this. This is a little gully just below Godrevy Head. For those of you who have followed me on social media for a while, you will know that I've shot through this gully on a number of occasions. Now, as you can see, the sea is pretty rough out there. Thankfully, it's not even low tide yet. The tide is on the way out, so it's safe to be in here. But I would not, under any circumstances, be in here with the tide coming in, because though you may have got in here, you may not get out. You can get cut off from the rear where the water comes in. So this is a place that you need to be really careful if you're going to come down and shoot. So one of the things I particularly like about shooting from this gully is the framing of the lighthouse between these rocks. In actual fact, at the moment, there's an awful lot of debris being washed up here, a lot of stones and pebbles and things. Normally, this is all clear. There's a lot more rocks in here to use as your foreground. But I don't think it's going to matter too much today. Given the movement we've got out here in the sea, I think it's going to look really nice. Now, I've set the camera up, so I'm just going to take a couple of shots to see how it's looking, and then I will show you how it looks, and I will talk you through it. Okay, so I've taken a number of shots now. Those waves are rolling in really quickly, so I may have got a little bit carried away with what I was doing. But let me just show you what I'm looking at on the back of the camera. Let me just turn you around. So this is the view on the back of the camera. So we're using the rocks either side to frame up the lighthouse in between, and then obviously we've got some interest in the foreground. I've used the polarizer to take some of the glare off of that water in the foreground, so it's not so much of a distraction. And then obviously there's the main view you're looking at. Absolutely fantastic out of the day. Some absolutely incredible movement in that water out of the day. The other thing that I like about this particular shot is you don't just have to shoot it in landscape format. It works just as well in portrait. You may need to move up and down the gully a little bit to find the ideal composition for you. I normally do sunsets here. This is actually the first time I've shot this in daylight and in these sorts of conditions, but I thought I'd give it a go for once. You've just got to be careful. You've got to be careful in here. Like I said, it changes all the time. So today there's a lot of small stones and things in here. Another day it's clear and there's lots of slippery rocks, and it does get pretty slippery, so you need to watch your footing if you come down here. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I've taken a couple of images already, and I will choose the best of those, and I'll put that up on the screen for you now. Okay, so just so you can see what I mean, I've recomposed the image in portrait. Let me just turn you around so you can take a quick look at that. There you go, there's the image composed in portrait. Again, you have the rocks either side of the gully framing the image. You've got the wonderful movement of that sea out there today, and you've got a little bit of foreground interest, which again, adjusting the polarizer just takes the glare off. That's it for today, folks. Time's against me. I've got to go back and get my girls from college shortly, and I've got a bit of a walk back to the van. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you for accompanying me today. Please do like and subscribe if you like what you see. As I said in the previous video, 2023 I intend to be more visible, and doing these videos is part of the challenge that I've set myself in order to get out, do more photography, improve my photography, and hopefully grow my audience and grow this channel. So if you would like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again soon.